Good morning. The Adams County Board of County Commissioners is in public hearing. It is Tuesday, August 28th, 9:32 a.m. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hodge.
Here.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Here.
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Here.
Commissioner Hanson.
Here.
I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Aye. We begin this morning by highlighting another great year at the Adams County Fair. In fact, you could probably say it was unforgettable. We all know this annual celebration of the county's heritage and culture is the product of months of preparation and hard work. In just a moment, we're going to talk with the team that is primarily responsible for this incredible event. But first, let's look at some of the highlights from the 2018 Adams County Fair.
I've been here for 4 years, and I've been coming to Adams County Fairgrounds, and I love this place. Let me tell you something, folks. If you all make it down here, you will enjoy yourself with not just the food, but all the atmosphere that you see around here and the families that come out here. They're spectacular.
Todo, el baile, la comida, se pasea uno con la familia, pasa más tiempo uno con la familia así.
The games were really fun, and there's a lot of entertainment, and the food's really good too.
We definitely had a unforgettable week. The attendance was bigger than we've seen in the past few years. We definitely had some great feedback from our concerts. Our mutton busting was a huge hit, so that's something that we want to bring back in the future. The Kids Zone, Kids Day was huge. It was a great opportunity for us to throw a community event for the children. 4-H partnership is an incredible partnership. Without them, we would not have a county fair. Ag education is our mission and what we are intending to do for the community. And so we hope by doing things like AgriLand that it'll continue to enhance the 4-H program and help them build. It's a community service that we put on here, and it's really nice to see everybody come and take advantage of it.
If you're not here this year, come right back next year. God bless you all, man. Come on back.
Will Director of Parks and Open Space Nathan Mosley and Fair Manager Cassandra Vossler please approach the podium? Nathan, I know that we had a great time again this year. What do you think we did better this year?
I think we did lots of things better this year. And watching that video, it kind of exhausts me again. It's amazing to see how much stuff is packed into those 5 days. It truly is. And I just want to thank Cassandra and her team, and I'll turn it over to Cassandra because she's got more that she wants to say. But, you know, I want to thank Cassandra, her team, my management team, CSU Extension, our entire Parks and Open Space team that works before, during, and after the fair to make it happen. I want to thank the BOCC, the executive management team, the fair board, all the directors that came out, especially my two favorite courtesy cart drivers, Kevin Beach and Jeff Bowman. I think they were there late into the night with all of us. And so we had a great time. It takes lots of other departments to help support this event too. The PIO's office, finance, public works. We couldn't do this without purchasing, without all of the other departments that help support this. And like I said, 2 years ago, we put on the fair and everybody rallied around me and we were able to put this on, and we didn't have a fair manager at that time. So I am so blessed and thankful to have Cassandra here. So I'll turn it over to her so she can talk to you a little bit more about all the things that she thinks went super well during the fair.
Well, Cassandra, congratulations. Hopefully you've had a chance to catch up on your sleep.
I have, and thank you for this opportunity now that my brain cells have started firing again on the proper cylinders. As you could see in the interview, we were a little exhausted. I didn't have much of a voice, so it is a long week for sure. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to share some of the best of the 2018 Adams County Fair, a truly unforgettable week. A huge thank you to Amin for not only putting together the video, but for being there on site all week to catch that footage. It means a lot to us to be able to see what our attendees are doing because we're not always right there to see it. So I really appreciate him and his team being on site all week. When we decided the theme would be unforgettable back in December, little did we know this year would break records and possibly sell the fair out on Sunday. But we were hoping this summer would leave our team and several thousand residents with unforgettable memories, and that it did. And now that I have some final numbers, I won't use the word huge for everything, so I'd like to share with you a few of the numbers to show just a little more of the best of 2018. The attendance at our grandstand events grew by 11%. The use of off-site shuttles grew by 32%. Yay, that's huge for all of us. And thanks to Dylan, Commissioner Tedesco, and the County Manager's Office, the Funnel Cake 5K more than doubled their runners. And these are just a few of the numbers that led to our overall attendance, which grew by 22%, giving us a total number of 963 attendees over the 5 days, putting us in the running to be the largest county fair in the state. I know we've heard it before, but we actually did some research and we're waiting for one fair to come back, but compared to last year, we are well over their numbers. So we will keep you posted on that, but we're really excited to actually have those solid figures. I get to hear often congratulations or job well done for the success of this event. But I want to take a moment to share my thank yous because I could not do this by myself, as you all have seen. First off, my special events team, consisting of Courtney Cox, Ryan Modica and Melanie Davidson, who worked extremely hard, not just by putting in 18-hour days the 5 days of fair, but throughout the entire year, learning new things and looking for ways to enhance our already amazing event. From researching social media trends and increasing our social presence by more than 92% on Instagram alone, to studying new layouts to enhance the vendor and guest experience, or bringing in new food vendors to offer a more unique experience. I don't know who tried the smoked meatloaf, but I heard it was amazing. And by adding more options and locations to buy beverages, which in turn increased sales by more than 64%. Even our interns were an essential part. Carlina created our Snapchat filters, which received over 132,000 views. And poor Lauren, whose first day was the day before Stars and Stripes, got to cut limes for over 3 hours and learned the entertainment industry isn't always as beautiful as it may appear. I also want to highlight the work the Parks and Open Space Department puts in to make this possible. Without the actual boots on the ground, this event wouldn't happen. With this being my second year, I had seen the magic that the operations team can make, but they continued to wow me every day. Trevor Graff's crew worked hard for several weeks straight leading up to the fair to make sure everything I had scheduled was going to fit, and created a grandstand setup that made us look like a professional venue. Bert Holgein's crew was there by my side for the 2 a.m. nights and also continued to amaze me with how fast they can flip an entire arena with me only giving a 5-minute warning. The front office staff, administrative staff, and management team who handle the massive amounts of questions from employees and guests. They help get volunteers to and from, and sometimes they even end up parking cars. And of course, the 4-H and Extension office staff who keep the vision of the fair alive every single day with their work in the community with our youth and ag education. On behalf of all of these people, we would like to thank the commissioners and the county manager's office for allowing us to take a few extra days off after fair to rest and refocus. I don't think anyone quite understands what working 2 to 3 weeks straight can do to a person's life. Even if you only work an 8-hour shift, which most of us don't, having to go to work for over 15 days straight can make your personal life literally go on hold. Bills don't get paid, laundry doesn't get done, and sleep isn't had. So again, thank you for giving us the extra time to recover. It was greatly appreciated. And lastly, all the departments who help us throughout the year and during the week of fair. Communications, ITI, purchasing, human resources, the county attorney's office, finance, public works, who oftentimes were going to bed when I was coming to work, and of course, the Adams County Sheriff's Department. It takes every single one of these people to put on an event of this size, and I just want to say thank you. And thank you to the commissioners for continuing to support us and allowing us to think bigger and better every year. Stay tuned for 2019. It will be more than unforgettable. We also have some gifts. Okay, and we've got some to put up in the county manager's office, but these were all signed by our artists, so we would like the commissioners to have them to put in their office.
Any comments from any of the commissioners? Yeah. Thank you so much to your team and for the work you've done. It was a great fair. Commissioner Tedesco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, fair's over, Funnel Cake 5K's over. One of the most successful events at the county fair gets people up and active early in the morning for a great cause. The Funnel Cake 5K started 4 years ago, and we now have hundreds of runners lacing up their shoes to get some exercise and to help foster kids in Adams County. Not only did we have hundreds of runners, but we appreciate our sponsors. Iron Woman Construction and Environmental Services, Smart Sheet Metal Local 9, Colorado, Seawald Hamfling Public Affairs, Republic Services, Aurora Economic Development Council, and the Colorado Sikh. We want to publicly recognize and thank these groups for their ongoing support of foster care services here in Adams County. Will Ellen Sandoval from Children and Family Services please come to the podium?
Good morning.
Good morning, Ellen. Would you like to say a few words?
I would. I also have Angela Wilson here with me, who is the foster care supervisor. Good morning, Commissioners. On behalf of Children and Family Services Division, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude for your continued support of the Funnel Cake Run Walk. We had a phenomenal level of participation this year, as Commissioner Tedesco just mentioned, and it has been amazing to see the growth of this event year after year. This year's fundraising efforts will offset the cost of our holiday party and gifts for our foster children. I'm happy to report that our 79 foster families are currently providing a safe, stable home for 109 children. We also have 18 families who are pending certification. This will bring our total to 97 foster families. Thank you again for your support and encouragement surrounding the Funnel Cake Run Walk. It is appreciated greatly. And now I'll ask Angela to say a couple of words.
Sure. I just want to say thank you to Dylan, and I don't see him here, but truly, this was all Dylan's work. We had the luxury of showing up at 6:30 in the morning and just helping and supporting everything that he already had in place, and we were completely amazed and impressed by the volunteers, the food, the snacks, the organization of the event. And so I want you guys to know that this 100% was the work of Dylan and whoever else was supporting him, Rebecca. And I would like to say thank you to Amber from Communications, who is the most amazing partner to our foster care program. I would also like to acknowledge my team that is here, back here. These guys are the people who are doing the work day in and day out, supporting the foster families who are caring for our most vulnerable and precious population here in Adams County. And they do an amazing job every single day. And I really would like to encourage all of you, Ray, the commissioners, Communications, the real recipients of all of this work are the kids. And so I invite all of you to join us at our holiday party annually. We started a Kites for Kids event this year that was awesome. And any time that our kids are together and our families are together, if you come out and see their faces and the joy that these families are experiencing, all the time and effort that went into this event was 100% worth it. So we look forward to seeing you throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will say this, that, you know, the work that you guys do is amazing and it's incredible, and it is for the sole purpose of the kids. And, you know, Dylan, I want to thank him. He really did an outstanding and amazing job. But also, Dylan needs a staff and other teammates to work together with him. And those people that stepped up and helped him and gave him the guidance that he needed through some of the difficult areas to navigate. I want to thank those people also. You know, Ray Gonzalez, through this whole time has been, you know, incredibly supportive, giving the resources and just history of how we're doing this and why we're doing this. And to draw from resources like that made it incredibly successful this year. I kind of want to give I want to make it a surprise. I think that it should be a surprise. I want to come down front and invite all the commissioners to come down front so that we can give you the check and kind of announce how much we're going to be able to give the foster kids this year. Okay? Yeah. All right, let's go down front. So as you know, this is kind of a surprising. I know this is something that is near and dear to my heart. I know I say this way too much, but I'm a foster child. I come from that background. This means a lot to me to be able to do this, but you know, this has been a struggle getting it going for the first 4 years. We are at 282 runners this year, and to be considered a professional race, you need to be at 300 runners. what our people that we hired to run the race and do the race said to us is that we are one of the only races in Colorado that has increased in the amount of people that have come and participated in the race. So I'm very proud of the work that everybody, especially this team, has done to honor and respect the foster kids and their families. And it is my pleasure to announce that we are presenting a check today for $10,023. Thank you, everyone. And my next year, if we get over 300, it will be a professional race. We'll be recognized across the state. Across the state. Street. It's all the same. All right. So moving on, one of my other favorite events of the fair each year is the Celebrity Livestock Show. As a past champion, somehow, I learned quite a bit about how much time the young men and women in 4-H spend with their animals. But 4-H is much more than just the animals. Hundreds of volunteers, judges, supervisors are all teaching these young people life lessons they will never forget. Let's learn more about the program from Julia Hurdle-Brink, Kenzie Kimmel, and Lacey Mann, and Chris Ewing? Did I say it right? Ewing? Close enough. Okay. Please come to the podium. While you're at the podium, maybe you could start by telling us what are some of the core goals and principles 4-H is helping our young people learn?
Well, thank you all for having us here. My name is Julia, this is Chris, and this is Kenzie. Unfortunately, Lacey wasn't able to be with us this morning. 4-H, the big purpose that 4-H does is to teach our kids life skills so that they can go into the community and become productive citizens, which is what we want them to do, to be able to make those life decisions of decision-making, working with others, record keeping, all of the things that we do through 4-H through our projects and activities that we do with them. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. How much money did you raise? Do you know how much money you raised?
I do know how
4-H?
much money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are we going to come down and capture the moment with a photo in front of the dais? Is there anyone else in your group before we do that that would like to say a few words? Nathan?
Okay.
So I do want to give a special thanks to the CSU Extension team and the staff from 4-H. They all come together just like the entire Parks and Open Space Department does, and they really take hold of and take care of all of the 4-H activities. Many times it is not a glamorous life over there. They might be waiting for rabbits to pee in order to capture that sample so that they can test it. I mean, it's amazing the things I never knew when I took this job, some of the things that I would see and be talking about, but they do a fantastic job. And what we've done on the Thursday night concert is partner with them, so a portion of those proceeds from the sale of tickets on Thursday night go to 4-H to help support a grant program that we're standing up to support committees and 4-H functions here in Adams County. So we know it's an important thing to hold on to and to support moving forward because it's our agricultural heritage here in Adams County. And so I'm proud to present a check for $9,052 to 4-H.
See, he answered the question.
So we'd love for you guys to come down and take photos with us as well.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners. I want to thank our partnership that we have with the Parks and Open Space and the fair. We couldn't do our jobs without them, and it's a great partnership we have, so thank you all.
Turning our attention to another impressive group of county employees, the team at the Animal Shelter and Adoption Center recently participated in the Clear the Shelters event. Will Stephanie Wild and her team of passionate employees please come to the podium?
Hello and good morning. We have a great gratitude for the acknowledgement today. I have behind me the shelter's management team. I'll introduce them in a minute, but if just everyone from the animal shelter employees and volunteers who are representing the 50 that helped us on Saturday the 18th, please stand up so you can be seen. Thank you. So thanks is an understatement about how it really takes a huge effort. You've heard that in all the other great acknowledgments that are happening today around the fair. We participated last year for the first time in the NBC Telemundo's National Clear the Shelters event, an event to bring awareness to adopting and rescuing animals from animal shelters that has caught fire throughout our nation and is responsible to date, Jen, for how many? 80,000. For 80,000 animals being adopted since its inception. Last year we participated flying by the seat of our pants. This year we put a little more planning and effort into it, and I have some folks to thank. First is Jennifer Lucero Alvarez. She is a new position that was created for the Animal Shelter Community Relations and Development. She works closely with our communications department to coordinate events. She is a master planner coming from advertising and marketing and put together a template that we'll be able to use for years to come. She has great awareness and knowledge of also marketing and reaching out to the Latino community, helped coordinate 2 appearances by 2 of our incredible bilingual Spanish and English-speaking staff, Maite Alag and Claudia Iglesias, to represent us well on Telemundo, bringing furry pets there. Jennifer was instrumental in helping us plan a template that actually was astounding compared to other shelters. Angel Williams, our operations manager. Angel was in a meeting with other operations managers from several other Front Range, well-known, well-respected animal shelters who were all complaining about the chaos at their Clear the Shelters event. And with the help of our IT department, we implemented an on-cue system, modeling after something the tax preparation group here at Adams County uses, and had some of the shortest lines. We had adopted all our animals, all our dogs actually, by 12:30 p.m., and we had only opened at 10. We heard some of the other shelters had 4-hour and 5-hour lines. Almost all but a handful of our cats were adopted. Angel and her team were there at 6:30 in the morning cleaning the shelter. Other staff helped patrons, residents coming in with other needs than adoption, surrendering, working with our animal control partners for intake. In the summer, we tend to take in 30 to 40 animals a day and about 550 a month, and that continued to happen during the event. Also, Andrew Brooks, our incredible volunteer coordinator. Andrew has more than tripled the amount of volunteers since he got here 2.5 years ago and coordinated 50+ awesome volunteers who helped us from everything to show animals to direct traffic and work with patrons. Again, volunteers, raise your hand. We're so incredibly happy and grateful for your support. Helped us make the event a success. And all I had to do was offer them some pizza. And they were all there. Also, Dr. Nicole Velasquez, I don't know if you've had the pleasure to meet Dr. Velasquez. Nikki, if you could raise your hand. She's taking a break from spay and neuter surgery this morning. She and her healthcare team help spay and neuter, give dentals to animals. We're on hand to show animals and answer questions about medical needs for animals on hand during the event. Dr. Vlasis was our employee of the quarter for servant leadership in our shelter and truly goes above and beyond. Our customer care supervisor, Stephanie Marburger. Stephanie is also a great liaison with IT, our chameleon expert. She worked along with Angel and the customer care team to make a streamlined adoption process to move people in and out. I will say we never compromised at all the quality of the adoption counseling process, making sure we were matching the correct animals with the correct people so those adoptions stick and become long-term and not just impulse. And also Marla Vogel, who can't be here today, our administrative coordinator. We all know that the administrative coordinators are the glue in these events. I would like to thank the executive leadership team, the support of the county's manager's office. People and culture came to help us a week before the event to clean the shelter, prepare adoption packets. Communication departments made us videos, promotional materials posted on Facebook, and our new incredible website drove more people to the site. IT, I've already mentioned, helped us with the new on-queue system. I'd like to thank Nathan Mosley that during the aftermath of the busy fair also had staff lend us tents, cones, and equipment, and they were delivered and picked up so we could make sure guests were comfortable and safe. I do have something to read that I think says it all when we get positive feedback. This was posted on our Facebook page just a few days ago. Adams County Animal Shelter is a great place to adopt a new friend from. They are very attentive to your needs in a pet. They were very helpful and even took the time to cat test the dog we adopted. They were knowledgeable about their animals, asked if our dog liked to be hugged, and they were able to help us and show us how to do that. The shelter is clean and well organized, and they were getting people in and out as fast as they could, so we did not have to wait long. Not sure if it comes with every adoption, but with our adoption, we received a return to care to a vet for the value of a workup of $250 for the owner's convenience and the health of pets. That comes with all adoptions per our partners in the community. Thank you again, Adams County Animal Shelter, for all that you do for the animals. We enjoyed our experience so much that I could not pass up the opportunity to recommend them. When our reputation increases, it helps more animals get saved. It makes the county seem more valuable, and so it lifts us all up. The positive thing, too, of watching our teams work together, having a break in the busy summer as more animals came in within hours. We were only clear for a few hours, but it gave us a chance to see what we can do when we truly work together, when we're creative together, when we're supported from the top to the bottom. And I don't have gifts to give you, but if you want to come by the shelter today, any of you can bring home a furry pet before 5 o'clock. We have a rule. If you touch it, you take it, and it's also helping us to clear animals. None of my humble management team wanted to speak today, so I hope it doesn't seem I'm stealing all the limelight. But again, I just want to say that I have my dream job. I work around incredible people every day to save incredible animals and represent an incredible county government. Thank you so much.
Before you go, Stephanie, we are really excited about the groundbreaking for the new animal shelter. Do you want to comment on that before you turn it over?
Thank you for helping to remember, Commissioner Hodge. The groundbreaking for the new Riverdale Animal Shelter will be on September 4th. That's a Tuesday at 3 p.m. Get out there a little bit early, 2:30, to get your space. I said once, and I'll say it again, that we decided we weren't going to wait to be excellent until we're in our excellent new building. And so I hope our continued efforts show that even before we get to this beautiful new facility, we're going to continue to work in a way that serves our community. Thank you so much.
Any comments from any commissioner?
I don't need another animal, just saying.
Then
Already
don't touch
adopted
one.
2 from the shelter.
We now turn our attention to a cause not only that hits home, but is also a concern around the world. Today is International Overdose Awareness Day, a global event. This morning, we send our thoughts to the healthcare professionals, families, and people suffering with addiction. Will Commissioner Odoricio please read the proclamation into the record?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This proclamation reads, acknowledging August 31st, 2018 as International Overdose Awareness Day. Whereas International Overdose Awareness Day is recognized around the world as a day to acknowledge individuals whose lives have been lost and to raise awareness about the risks of overdose. And whereas International Overdose Awareness Day hopes to publicly challenge the stigma associated with substance abuse and overdose. And whereas in Adams County over the last 5 years, there have been a total of 232 opioid-related deaths and 83 heroin-related overdose deaths. Fatalities due to overdose are now the leading cause of accidental death in the United States, with over 70,000 occurring in 2017. Whereas International Overdose Awareness Day acknowledges that overdose deaths devastate families, friends, and communities. This day recognizes overdoses from all drugs, allowing us to speak and educate more broadly about the issue while making a commitment to preventing future deaths. Accidental overdose is largely preventable. And whereas International Overdose Awareness Day sends a strong message to individuals who formerly used or currently use substances that they are valued. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Adams, State of Colorado, does hereby proclaim August 31st, 2018 as International Overdose Awareness Day. And this proclamation is signed by all 5 commissioners.
Thank you. Let's learn more about this important issue. Will Stephen Martinez, Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator from Tri-County Health, please approach the podium? Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. On behalf of Tri-County Health Department and the Tri-County Overdose Prevention Partnership, we want to extend our sincere gratitude and thanks for your continued support as we work on the opioid crisis. As we know, the opioid crisis has not spared any community in the United States. This is a problem that we've seen from the East Coast clear through the West Coast. And again, we thank you for your support as we work to decrease overdose deaths in Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas counties, and B, increase awareness and education of those factors leading to overdose deaths. I'll also give a plug for our upcoming International Overdose Awareness Day event. It's scheduled to happen this coming Friday from 11 to 12 p.m. At Centerpoint Plaza location in Arapahoe County. Yours truly, Commissioner Odoricio, will be providing a short speech at the event. We'll also have Narcan trainings provided by some community mental health centers that will be free to the public. And please, if you're in the area, please feel free to stop by. We'd love to have you. Thanks.
Thank you. Any comments from any commissioner? Commissioner Tedesco.
So I just want to say, you know, this is an important subject that we discuss as commissioners, but there's one commissioner on our board that really kind of took it above and beyond and really created partnerships, you know, across the board with other commissioners and other counties, and has really highlighted it for us in Adams County. And I just want to say thank you to Commissioner Odoricio for all his hard work on this, and also to partners like you in the Tri-County and the other counties in your work and ongoing work that we have done in the opioid crisis in the United States. And, you know, it's not over. It's not, we haven't made the progress that we hoped that we would make, but, you know, through commitment and dedication, we'll get there. So thank you.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. Thank you.
Commissioner Odoricio.
I appreciate those comments, Commissioner Tedesco. The moment I brought this up to the board, immediately everyone was on board to supporting this effort. So I look at this definitely as a team effort, although I do appreciate the comments. There's some major points that I think we need to highlight is that in the last few years since we've created the Joint Task Force at Tri-County Health, there have been a significant increase in the number of drop-off sites, which is for safe which handles the safe disposal of life-threatening drugs. The other thing we need to give credit to is the cities and our law enforcement partners who have worked on creating safe distribution sites for the life-saving drugs like Narcan. And I know our law enforcement agencies, from the sheriff's office to the cities, are also working on that. And then we will continue to support our treatment providers. And this board up here, I was very proud for when we stood up and made sure that we made sure that the detox facility remained in Adams County. That was an important thing. And then very recently, Adams County has joined a lawsuit to hold people accountable, and it will be discussed a little bit more. I would like Heidi Miller to highlight that a little bit after I'm done, but this board has been committed to trying to address this horrible epidemic that is gripping not just this community, but the communities all across the United States. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And, through continued support from our local elected officials and the great partners that we have represented on the Tri-County Overdose Prevention Partnership, we are confident that we'll be able to see a reduction in the coming years in regards to opioid overdose deaths. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Dorisio. So actually on the agenda today on your consent calendar, item L is a contract to retain the services of a national firm, Keller Rohrbach, with local counsel Riley Posner, to get us into the game, essentially, in terms of joining the federal and probably filing a state lawsuit as well to go after opioid manufacturers and distributors that we believe had a significant impact on our community for the county and a lot of the surrounding jurisdictions and other entities like Tri-County Health. So we have joined a consortium of at least 10 other local governments, and it's growing, that are working together here in Colorado to pursue this together and hopefully get some kind of compensation for the effects it's had on our communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Public comment. Erica, has anyone signed up for public comment?
We do not have anyone signed up today.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board? Seeing none, does any county commissioner have comments for us today? Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Tedesco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say before everybody leaves that, this is why we are Adams County. This is why we do the things that we do, from our Funnel Cake Foster Care Run to our 4-H programs to our Tri-County Health Partnerships. This is why we are who we are and why we say we are Adams. I just want to thank every single one of you, and I would be remiss if I did not point out, and maybe someone else wants to point it out, but in the Funnel Cake 5K, our own county manager, Raymond Gonzalez, ran and completed that 5K, and as many of you know, did so after being diagnosed with cancer and after being treated for cancer. And so it was an honor and a privilege to be at that Funnel Cake 5K and witness that, and for the meaning that the Funnel Cake 5K had behind it, to have him there and support that type of fundraiser and recognition is absolutely incredible, and I just want to say thank you. So everyone, thank you very much for all you do.
That applause was for you, Ray. You weren't supposed to stand up.
Sorry.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Dorisio,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Aye. New business, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, County Commissioners. What a great day it was today to recognize all the amazing hard work that our team did put forth this summer. The first and only item before you is a resolution approving an agreement between Adams County and Copyco Quality Printing, Inc. for countywide printing services. And our Communications Director, Jim Seidlecki, will be presenting this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Seidlecki, Communications Director. As you know, Adams County utilizes printing services for county business cards, letterhead, envelopes, and other forms. A request for proposals was solicited through Rocky Mountain e-Purchasing for countywide printing services. Those proposals were opened on July 20th. 3 firms did submit proposals to the county. The firms were evaluated on the following criteria: project team and past project experience, project approach, ability to meet timeline and provide requested deliverables, online ordering system, basically a website unique for us to order through, and fee structure. After a thorough review, the evaluation team determined that Copyco Quality Printing Incorporated is the most responsive and responsible proposer and provides the best value to Adams County moving forward. Staff recommends the award to be made to Copyco Quality Printing to provide countywide printing services in the not-to-exceed amount of $298,490. Happy to entertain any questions that you might have about this.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
Madam Chair. Move for the approval of resolution approving an agreement between Adams County and Copyco Quality Printing, Inc. for countywide printing services.
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Ms. Miller, do you have anything?
I do not. Thank
All
you.
right. Let's take a brief recess as we set up for our land use hearings. are back in order for land use hearings. Mr. Barnes.
Good morning, Greg Barnes with Community and Economic Development. The first case is known as Crown Castle 4. This is a request to renew a conditional use permit on an existing commercial telecommunications tower. This case was heard before the Planning Commission on August 9th. At that hearing, the applicant requested a continuance from the Planning Commission, and that was granted until September 13th. As a result, staff is recommending that this board continue this conditional use permit request to the October 2nd agenda.
Any comments? Is there a motion?
I would move to continue it, but with the first thing to make sure that there's no one in the audience that might have come based on the notification. I don't see there would be, but just in case.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I only see staff. But we love you all. Okay, I'll second the motion.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson? Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge?
Aye.
The next land use case before you is known as the Rocky Mountain Rail Park Metropolitan District Service Plan. The request is from Railland LLC. It's an application for a service plan to serve the Rocky Mountain Rail Park Metropolitan District. This plan will finance the construction and maintenance of public services in a proposed PUD. The subject property is located here on the right of the screen. It is just to the east of the Colorado Air and Spaceport. It is located east of Manila Road and north of US Highway 36, which is also known as Colfax Avenue. The area is currently zoned A1, and the applicant is proposing a PUD on the property. It's surrounded by other zone districts, which include Aviation and Agricultural 3. It's also surrounded by portions of the City of Aurora's jurisdiction. The county's comprehensive plan has designated a future land use of mixed-use employment in the area. The applicant is proposing a comprehensive plan amendment which would change this designation to industrial. The surrounding area, as I mentioned, is within the City of Aurora. It's also designated as agriculture and public future land use designations. So a little background on what's being submitted by the applicant in addition to this service plan. The applicant has applications on file with the county, which are currently in the review process. That include a rezoning of this property to PUD, a comprehensive plan amendment to change the future land use designation to industrial, a preliminary plat, which would include a private street running from north to south within the existing land area, and create individual lots within the development. And finally, a preliminary development plan, which will allow the applicant more flexibility on how the site is developed, but as a trade-off will provide architectural standards and active recreation open space to the county. The proposed PUD is 620 acres, and the applicant is proposing 1.3 million square feet of commercial and industrial space within the area. The anticipated assessed value at build-out would be over $125 million. The Metropolitan District would be a quasi-governmental entity in accordance with Colorado revised statutes, and the proposal before you is for 469 of the 620 acres. The remaining 151 acres may be incorporated into this Metropolitan District at a later time. However, none of the commercial or industrial space would be located on this 151 acres, only infrastructure to help serve the 469 acres. Chapter 10 of our development standards does require that the applicant describe the area to be served, describe the facilities and services that would be provided, and create a financial plan to address the cost and the debt that would be incurred from the proposal. The chapter also includes findings that must be found, including sufficient existing and projected need for these services, that existing services is inadequate to support the projected needs of the development, and that the proposed district is capable of providing economical and sufficient service to repay the debt. The service plan before you includes financing for construction and infrastructure of sanitation, water services, public and private street improvements, traffic and safety controls, and public and transportation facilities. The financial plan includes an estimated cost of these improvements to be $58 million, with a maximum debt that would be incurred of $100 million. The maximum debt mill levy would be 50, and then an additional mill levy of 10 for operations to bring the total maximum mill levy to 60. The interest rate would be in accordance with market rate with a cap of 18%. The applicant may also assign fees and developer advances for additional revenue, and the anticipated start would be in 2019. Staff notified all agencies and districts within 3 miles of the request. Bennett Watkins Fire stated that they did not want any overlapping services, and the applicant did respond to them stating that there would be no service overlap. The Tri-County Health encouraged the applicant to use water conservation methods in the development and create a mosquito control plan. And the Adams County Finance Department did want to make sure that there's no duplication of stormwater fees, which the applicant addressed with the Finance Department to their satisfaction. The Planning Commission heard this case on July 26th and found that the applicant met all of the required findings within Chapter 10 of our development standards, and both the Planning Commission and staff are recommending approval of this request with 9 findings of fact and 2 conditions. Thank you.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, does the applicant want to?
Okay. Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you for having us. Begin to thank Greg and the team. They've been highly supportive of this project, which is a big undertaking that we're very excited about. So our team, we're here with Raymond James Bankers, legal counsel, engineers. I'm just going to cover 4 or 5 slides, talk about why we're here, who we are, how we went about this project, and at the end, if you have further questions or specific areas that we need to highlight, I can call up some of our partners as needed. So if you look here at the summary, we're developing a business park just east of Front Range Airport, covering 620 acres. The project, once built, should be home to about 500 new jobs. In addition to the Metro District review conducted here today, we're working through a PUD process with the county's planning department. We are requesting a $100 million debt authorization to support public infrastructure. Who is Rocky Mountain Resources? Rocky Mountain Resources is an industrial platform with all of its operations focused here in Colorado. We focus on the integration and optimization of critical and fundamental materials, services, and products that comprise our region's industrial infrastructure. Rocky Mountain Rail Park is at the center of our long-term business plan. Why is this project needed? Denver's original city planners had appropriately created industrial zoning, what was then the outskirts of the city. Today, the city, suburbs, and state are all expanding rapidly, and the secret's out. You know, Colorado's a great place to live and work, which is all a welcome expansion opportunity for us in the private sector. However, the increased demands on our resources have created better and higher end use of that traditional industrial areas. Areas like North Denver and Commerce City are now experiencing a wave of urban renewal, substituting industry for mixed use and residential infill. In my opinion, the industrial growth must keep pace with consumer and residential demands. If not, there may be a significant supply constraint which may lead to inflation, especially in the areas of infrastructure. Typically, governments are stuck with creating solutions to address these challenges with rising home costs and potential tax hikes to maintain our roads, bridges, and communities. So seeing a problem in the market, we address it as a unique opportunity. We believe our rail park begins to address the region's supply constraints by offering efficient and affordable distribution for critical building materials. We could not have picked a better location in Adams County to be at the center of this growth. allow me to highlight what I believe to be the most critical aspects of development in general. How we work alongside the community in a responsible yet beneficial manner. Number one, health, safety, and welfare. It's important to note that this property is located within the airport noise influence zone, eliminating the potential conflict with future residential use. We are complying with all coordinating agencies. Number two, we're financially responsible. Only on-site businesses will be taxed. The taxation will be thoughtful and spending will be conservative. The financial impact to the county and citizens is net positive. Three, sound environmental practices leading to sustainability. We are making every effort to implement best practices to preserve critical resources we all share, especially water. And to wrap up my soapbox, we wanted to highlight, we are completely in compliance. There are no costs to residents or government on this project. There is a positive tax impact. Debt issued by the district will construct community assets. We should create hundreds of new jobs with meaningful wages. And a PUD process will provide ample opportunity to address any outstanding details.
Any questions for the applicant? Where's your water coming from?
Groundwater rights that we purchase along with the land.
Commissioner Adaricio.
So this question is for staff. So in certain situations we require, is it 100 years, 300 years? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I've heard some different things about what our requirements
Sure.
are.
So our county regulations require a 300-year supply of water. They're going through the subdivision process right now. They have to demonstrate that they have adequate water. They prepare a water supply plan to the county staff. We review that and we forward it to the State Division of Water Resources. And the Office of the Engineer there provides an opinion that it meets not only our regulations but state law. Our regulations exceed state law, which is a 100-year supply, and we've always had a 300-year supply requirement in our subdivision regulations. So that is underway. We're in the review process with them, and in order to recommend approval of their subdivision, that would have to be a finding of fact.
Further questions? Commissioner Adaricio.
And so did you try to work with Aurora Water to see if they were able to extend out to you guys? And if you did reach out, what were the results of those conversations?
Yeah, we actually reached out to every jurisdiction within 10 miles, every private and public entity. Aurora Water was willing to work with us. Unfortunately, it was uneconomical. They wanted to essentially create a pipeline infrastructure about 8 to 10 miles that we would have had to have funded. So that, yeah, and of course they promised other users at a later time could reimburse us, but that wasn't something our capital could support. So we politely declined.
Commissioner.
So if in the future, though, the water does get out that far, what would be the ability, the practical ability to be able to plug in to there? Or is it once you go with the Metro District here? This might be a question for staff or the applicant, but I do see this area eventually getting to the point where Aurora will be developing in and around it. This is by the Colorado Air and Spaceport, after all.
Mm-hmm. We have thought through this pretty thoroughly. I think the logical, or one of the logical solutions could be, let's call it absolving the Metro District or including it into the municipal services. It could be a shared service agreement, or it could be the acquisition of our water rights to service those customers. Any of those solutions we're open to. I think most importantly, we're charged with creating solutions for our park. And unfortunately, there's no current plan in place from municipalities to develop that area. It's a long-term vision for the community, but we were dealing with very short timelines, 1 to 2 years, that we had to proceed with the path. But we're open to including them or being included in their strategy as Aurora and Bennett kind of merged together right next to the spaceport. So for us, this was the most efficient, capital-efficient way to build the critical infrastructure needed for our customers.
Commissioner Hanson.
You know, we have a water treatment plant at the airport, so why wouldn't we just do that? Why wouldn't we connect to the airport water treatment plant? Pay a tap, sell the water rights to the county, so that you have water. I don't know if it's in the same aquifer or if it's adjudicated for the same location or not, but.
So we've had those discussions with the airport. Unfortunately, their capacity is limited for our potential use on the wastewater side.
So it's about treatment, or is it about the water rights when you say capacity?
That was specifically about the treatment. And we did discuss at length with the staff there about providing, some sort of partnership.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, at the end of the day, the limitation on treatment, the limitation on the water rights is really just about money. And so the question is it, and even if you acquire groundwater rights, you're still going to have to treat it in some capacity if it's going to be viable for drinking. And there's a whole process you have to go through HPTE to make that happen. So that's an expensive process. I mean, a new water treatment plant is going to be in the millions of dollars. And so I still have to, I think you've got to ask a question: is it less expensive from a business standpoint to, work with the airport and the county or somebody else to pay them to either upgrade their water treatment, provide water rights, pay a tap and then extend the line, than it would be to try to do it all yourself out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that concern. It's not just a question of capital expense. Clearly, anyone with a big checkbook can create what we're talking about. It's not innovation. The airport specifically does not control their own water purification. It's done by Aurora. And again, we address the amount of water we need at the industrial site was not adequate, and it would have required a larger infrastructure build-out from Aurora's main tap. We have looked at a non-potable source on the east side of the airport for potential non-potable uses with the county or with the airport. That's still in play, but again, that would not have been adequate to serve our intended use. And so when you speak of capital, could it be shared? Absolutely, but we are private developers moving at a speed that our partners there on the public side could not keep up with. And as I said earlier about long-term solutions, we're very much agreeable to being part of that, but our capital has to have certain milestones done and completed within a reasonable time to even consider an investment of this scale. So hopefully that addresses some of your concerns.
Thank you.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Because we're talking about Metro District, and the whole context of the criteria here is, can the services and the infrastructure that is provided by the Metro District be accomplished through public means? Normally, I would be reluctant to talk about public-private partnerships on a single case that comes in front of us, but this particular case, it's a Metro District. We can have that context. If we were talking about PUD, it may not be appropriate. So I feel like we're okay to ask the question that I want to ask, which I think is where I was kind of going, and then I think Commissioner Hanson took us a step further, is I really think that we as a collective are going to see Adams and Aurora want to develop around this area, and we're going to want to invest in some of the same infrastructure. My question, and it might be more directed to staff, the county manager or others, would be, can we make sure that whatever is done here is done efficiently for the benefit of everyone? These guys have timelines probably faster, it sounds like, than we can get to. But if there's opportunities for synergies, I get the impression that Aurora is just as excited about having the spaceport at the location it's going to be in as we are. And that means that we are likely to want to have some sort of investments around this area. So How can we make sure that we aren't creating a neighborhood of, siloed infrastructure when there might be an opportunity for all of us to save through some sort of synergies?
Well, my response to that, Commissioner, is that I will be in direct communication with Jason until the new city manager comes on board in a couple of weeks. But I think we need to bring it at that level.
Commissioner Hanson?
I appreciate the comments from Commissioner Mauricio. I do think that that's worth a larger discussion. I'm not sure if it's salient for the particular question that we have here with this metro district, but certainly the question of how do you develop infrastructure where it doesn't exist out in the middle of nowhere is worth a discussion.
Any further comment? Commissioner Tedesco?
This is a question more for staff. Does this fall within the opportunity zones that were outlined just recently?
No, it's outside.
Is it outside?
Yeah.
There is one at Front Range Airport, but I believe this is right outside the boundaries of that census tract.
Anything further? Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Which begs the question, if there's one at Front Range Airport, that could be part of the broader discussion for the big picture moving forward, because I think that's a valid point to bring up, so.
We did, just to clarify on the opportunity zone, we did approach the state who, the governor's nominated, and their stance is pretty rigid on changing the tracks for the
Right.
opportunity zone.
Okay. So I will, my comment here is just, this generally seems like something I could support. I would like to see us just see if we could work collectively with the neighborhood to see if there's opportunities for synergies. Thank you.
I was going to comment, one thing we're trying to do on the actual design and development is to create an incremental or modular system so that as more use is required, either more wells, holding tanks, things like that can be added, same on the wastewater. And so nothing we're doing precludes us from future partnership, and so we welcome that and happy to work with Ray and the city of Aurora to find a long-term path.
Anything further? Anyone else? Are you happy with where you are?
Yes.
Okay, anyone else in the audience that need to talk about this? Seeing none, Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Is there any chance that the development that's being proposed here could actually, in addition to infrastructure, but also you're putting a rail line there, right?
That's right.
Is that something that the spaceport might be able to use in the future?
That's absolutely correct. We have been working with Dave over at the airport on trying to create some synergies between their platform and ours. Likely, the logical application is us being the rail terminal, providing access to heavier industrial manufacturers of those engines and plane parts and things like that, as well as smaller things like the actual materials used at the airport, salts, fuels, things like that. And so really good synergies.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Just a clarification, is it a rail line or a rail spur? Is it a pass-through or is it an end?
It's a terminal, it's an end, and so we are essentially an industrial track connecting to the main line of the Union Pacific, which runs parallel to Colfax right there. So that's part of the reason we located.
So this would only be heavy rail?
Heavy, please, what do you mean heavy?
So it would only be heavy rail, it would be for transport?
Oh, it's all freight, yes, it's not passenger.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Public comment. Public comment.
Public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to talk about this? I already asked that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nobody wants to yet. Is there a motion? Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of PLN 2018-17, 9 findings of fact and 2 conditions.
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner Tedesco,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge.
Aye. I believe that completes our business today. We are adjourned.